And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Good evening, everybody. We began this evening with breaking news. The U.S. military has started bombing targets in Iraq and Syria after that drone strike that killed 3 American soldiers in Jordan. With nearly a week passing since the attack and this U.S. response in retaliation. Critics of the Biden administration have warned that the delay has given Iranian military officials and members of the Iranian-backed militia groups a lot of time to go into hiding and to prepare for this response. And more evidence today that we are truly a nation in turmoil. And yes, we're a bitterly divided nation, not just between Republicans and the Marxist Dems, but between rhinos and patriots, also between races and genders. For crying out loud, we're having arguments about whether the government has the right to take away our children from their homes, about who is the authority over the lives of minor children. At the school, the state, the parents and families of our children? Since when should that be a contest? About creating men from women and making women from men. About whether men can have babies. We're not only divided, but also absurdly confused and indecent, loathsome, and oh so self-absorbed and righteous. Most especially our so-called elites. Whether they are the bigots running universities who preserve ignorance and fail all who seek higher education, or members of the Big Four on Capitol Hill, lying to one another and the American people, legislating open borders that is nothing more than a corrupt transfer of American power and wealth to the Mexican drug cartels and China. All at the behest of, well, not what used to be a Democrat Party, not what used to be liberals or the so-called progressives, because none of those labels apply. They are all out and out Marxists who mean the destruction of our nation at any cost because they know all the rest of us will be paying the bill. The loss of our constitutional republic, our American way of life, our history, our heritage, our prosperity, the American dream, and will be forced to turn over our heritage and, of course, our future to the low-life totalitarians of the left who claim loftier principles and purpose than lowly democracy, liberty, equality, truth, freedom, and the American way. You and I are fools to tolerate what was once called the Democrat Party that brims with ignorance and banality, and that is responsible now for a vast legion of fools' policies of greater spending, making this nation all but a debtor nation in perpetuity. We're putting up with collaborators like Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, Adam Schiff, wretches like James Langford, and the mendacious but ever so pious Mitt Romney. Their lies meant to overwhelm truth, but only if we allow them their lies. And on this show, we will not for as long as we can. And now, breaking news and a development that demonstrates just about all I just said to you. The Senate negotiators say they've just reached a so-called tentative deal on immigration and, of course, Ukraine funding. They're connected in some bizarre way in the minds of these sewer rats in our nation's capital. The senators haven't seen the bill even. They don't see the text until it's appropriate. But it raises the level of immigration by the millions, doesn't secure the border, gives amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants before them. Hundreds of thousands of Americans will still die of fentanyl overdoses each year. And the Republican negotiator, James Langford, censured by his state's Republican Party for his treason, his corruption, his mendacity, and he should be impeached in my judgment, as should McConnell and Thune. They're creatures of the sewer that is now, not so proudly, our nation's capital. We have some breaking news for you this evening regarding the corrupt prosecution of President Trump in Georgia. Earlier today, Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis admitted she had a relationship, as she put it, with one of the prosecutors that she hired for the case. a man named Nathan Wade. In a nearly 200-page court filing, the district attorney, Willis, called the allegations against her meritless and salacious, the very same allegations that she had just confirmed. And she absurdly claimed that while she and Wade had a quote-unquote relationship, there is no evidence Wade was prejudiced in the case. Extraordinary. How do you demonstrate that? And how in the world could you think that was not a conflict of interest? Willis has paid Wade nearly $700,000 to work on the Trump prosecution, despite the fact that Wade has never in his career tried a single criminal felony case. In fact, he's a divorce attorney. Forgive the irony. Her admission comes hours after House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan issued a subpoena to Willis for documents. Willis's office must turn over documents now relating to her use and receipt of federal funds and the manner in which those funds were used. Jordan's subpoena is part of a larger House Republican investigation into whether Willis used federal funds in the RICO case that they brought against President Trump. Chairman Jordan previously sought those documents from Willis voluntarily, but that didn't work. This will. The subpoena comes just days after a shocking report in the Washington Free Beacon, which revealed Willis fired an employee who blew the lid on her misuse of federal funds. In a recording obtained by the Free Beacon, which you're about to hear on this broadcast, you'll hear Willis speaking with one of her employees, Amanda Timpson. Timpson met with Willis over her alleged demotion after Timpson says she tried to stop one of Fani Willis's campaign aides from abusing federal funds. Notice in this recording that Fani Willis doesn't deny even one of the allegations of misuse.
He wanted to do things with grants that were impossible, and I kept telling him, like, we can't do that, and questioning stuff. He would take me off projects, tell people I wasn't doing what I was supposed to because I questioned him. Because I understood, I helped write that grant. I knew what was in that grant. He told everybody, we're going to get MacBooks, we're going to do that, we're going to get swag, we're going to use it for travel. I said, you cannot do that. It's a very, very specific grant. Mr. Cuffey respectfully did not know what he was doing, period.
So I respect that is your assessment. It was clear to me that you and Mr. Cuffey were not getting along. And I'm not saying that your assessment is wrong.
According to the Free Beacon, Timpson was terminated just weeks after warning Fani Willis about the misuse of federal funds in the DA office. Fani Willis's corrupt prosecution of President Trump is collapsing before our very eyes. Even CNN's chief legal expert, Ellie Honig, beginning to concede that this outrage is ending. In a new op-ed, Honig writes this, quote, "Whole case might run aground," adding that the situation is already bad down in Georgia, but it's about to get worse. And it certainly should get worse, for the Marxist Dems at least. Turning now to the state of the southern border, we're expecting Senate negotiators to release the full text of their so-called bipartisan border bill. It's really amnesty. It is really an awful document perpetrated by the Marxist Dems and Biden on the American people. If indeed it does pass, it will be a calamity. The president falsely announced earlier this week that he's done everything he can to secure the border. That's just another Biden lie.
Have you done everything you can do with executive authority, or is there more you could do? Absent
Done all I can do. Give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work rationally.
The man is possessed, and he's lying through his teeth. Of course, the American people know that everything he said is completely false. From the moment Joe Biden took office, he started dismantling Trump's secure border. He signed executive orders less than a month into his term as president to reverse President Trump's immigration policies and the security of that border. He lies and he lies some more, and now he claims he can't reverse those executive orders that he authored without an act of Congress. More lies, extraordinary lies. And after allowing more than 10 million, perhaps as many as 15 million illegals into this country, this lawless puppet president wants you to believe he will finally abide by the law to defend this country if you just give him more power. More power. That's exactly what we don't need to give him. Senator Marco Rubio made just exactly that point this week.
I don't believe that a president that right now went all the way to the Supreme Court to fight against border security, okay, to fight against Texas. He should be thanking Texas that president is somehow going to enforce a stricter law on the border. He doesn't want to do this. He won't do it, no matter what law we pass.
And we all seem to keep talking about Joe Biden as if he were truly in charge in this White House that he inhabits. But he's not in charge, and he's not making these decisions, and we all should be clear about this. This man is cognitively impaired. He is politically corrupt. He is compromised, and the bill that he wants reportedly allows for illegal immigrants to enter the country at levels never seen before, under color of law at least, assuming the daily rolling average of entries is fewer than 5,000 immigrants per day, or 1.8 million illegal immigrants per year. Unbelievable. And in other words, you can have 5,000 illegals each day, nearly 2 million a year, but don't worry about enforcement. And one of the chief Republican negotiators is Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. He denied that report in an interview with Fox News earlier this week.
Right now, there's internet rumors is all that people are running on. It would be absolutely absurd for me to agree to 5,000 people a day. This bill focuses on getting us to 0 illegal crossings a day. There's no amnesty. It increases the number of Border Patrol agents. It increases asylum officers. It increases detention beds so we can quickly detain and then deport individuals. It ends catch and release. It focuses on additional deportation flights out. It changes our asylum process so that people get a fast asylum screening at a higher standard and then get returned back to their home country. This is not about letting 5,000 people in a day. This is the most misunderstood section of this proposal. And let me tell you briefly what it is. In the last 4 months, we've had 7 days. In 4 months, we've had 7 days that we had less than 5,000 people. This is set up for if you have a rush of people coming at the border closes down, no one gets in. This is not someone standing at the border with a little clicker saying, I'm going to let one more in, we're at 4,999, and then it has to stop. It is a shutdown of the border, and everyone actually gets turned around.
There is a lying fool, and he is a tool of the Marxist Dems, and of course, corporate America, Wall Street, the oligarchs, and whoever the powers may be. But the powers in Oklahoma, the Republican Party there, have censored him, and I sure hope that they muster the courage to absolutely impeach this pathetic excuse for a senator. Lankford was lying, and lying some more. But even Lankford can't deny the secret nature of the legislation. It's been negotiated in private. Senators do not even know what the text is, what's in it, as he went through the course. The Schumer-McConnell Senate establishment has authored this, not little James Lankford. The American public hasn't seen the bill, of course, and what Lankford said is true. He could put the rumors to rest, but he would have to release the text, and then he would have to explain why there's no amnesty. What is the point of it if it's all about the same levels? And why does Joe Biden need any more authority to do the right thing, which is to secure the border, to enforce the immigration laws? But that, of course, would mean that we would reduce illegal immigration to but a trickle, as it's been historically. You can have useful idiots like this in the Republican Party working just as hard as the Marxists themselves and their allies in the media. John McCain's ideological heir in Capitol Hill, of course, is the disgraceful Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who slammed the America First members of Congress who've already expressed their opposition to the bill. Crenshaw is a beauty. He indicated he'd be open to supporting it. Listen to this deeply flawed individual.
The height of stupidity is having a strong opinion on something you know nothing about. I'm extremely disappointed in the very strange maneuvering by many on the right to torpedo a potential border reform bill. If we have a bill that, on net, significantly decreases illegal immigration, and we sabotage that, that is inconsistent with what we told our voters we would do. People will make up whatever reasons they want to. There's a number of them, I'm sure. But it would be a pretty unacceptable dereliction of your duty.
Meanwhile, at the border, the Texas showdown with the Biden administration goes on. Governors like Ron DeSantis of Florida, Kristi Noem of South Dakota, well, they're sending National Guard reinforcements to the great state of Texas. And how does all of this end? Well, joining us now is the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton. Mr. Attorney General, great to have you with us. How do you feel about the fact that 27 states have now lined up with your state in its defense of your border and our border as Americans? I think that there are now 10 that are already bringing National Guard contingents to your borders.
Yeah, look, we appreciate it. I think it sends a message to the rest of the country that the states, at least a majority or more, are aligned to defend the border. And I think it sends a message to Congress when they're negotiating these bills that potentially allow Biden to get away with what he's doing. Maybe it sends a message, hey, we don't want to do that. The Republican states want you to enforce the laws that are on the books. And guess what? The states are going to unite to help Texas and other states that have a border defend those borders. And we appreciate it.
At this point, all of your efforts, putting up razor wire impediments and barriers against illegal immigration, you've got your military department on the border, you've got the Department of Public Safety. Is it making a difference? Are you seeing a noticeable slowdown in immigrants crossing the border into Texas?
So I think it is making a difference. It's at least sending them to safer places to cross, which we don't control, the federal government does. I also think it's probably sending people to other states, Arizona and California, where they may not be doing exactly the same thing that we are. And so the numbers aren't down. You saw in December, I think it was the largest number of illegal crossings that we've seen. So the numbers are getting worse because the Biden administration obviously is continuing to promote this effort, and the cartels are getting better at doing it. And they realize, I think, that there's a potential that Biden is going to lose the next election. So they're trying to, get as many people across as they can, because there's profit involved with every person that gets to cross.
And what is the relationship right now with the Border Patrol? Has there been any intimation that, as the Biden administration alluded, that the Border Patrol will be asserting itself on federal lands and particularly on areas where you already have control, whether it be in Eagle Pass or any other part of that border?
Look, I don't think they've ever wanted to be a part of the Biden policies of just opening the border. Their job is to enforce federal law, and the ones I know, I've talked to hundreds of border agents. They don't like what Biden's doing. They always appreciated what Trump was doing, which is enforcing the laws and giving them the ability and the resources to do that. So I think the Border Patrol came out and said, we're not going to be cutting down a lot of wire. I don't think they want to do that. I think they sent the message to Biden, hey, you can try to, nationalize the guard there, but we don't want any part of that. So I don't think they want to do this. And I think they've signaled to Biden, hey, don't do this, because if you do, we're not participating.
And not assisting, what have you got a workaround if he decides to nationalize the Texas National Guard?
Look, we can't stop him from doing that, but with it, he can't stop us from putting wire right back up and fences right back up. It's our property. We're doing it on property that we control, either through some governmental entity. So I honestly think he's got trouble doing that, because I'm not even sure that the guard is going to want to participate in tearing down fences that they just put up. So, they've been helping us try to protect the border. I'm not so sure they're going to want to follow through on destroying property that Texas and they have been a part of putting up.
Now, obviously, you have the Mexican drug cartels are controlling that border across all four border states. But your intelligence, what are you hearing as the reaction from the Mexican drug cartels themselves and the Mexican government, which seems to be receding a bit from what had been enthusiastic support of the drug cartels their smuggling and sex trafficking.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of intelligence that's probably any different than what you know, but I think you're right. I think that they're seeing some of the pushback from just the public. I think they also realize that Biden is probably on a short leash, that he's not likely to win the next election. And the biggest reason, illegal immigration and the out of control border. I think they know that. And I think just like when Trump was in office, they worked with Trump to help enforce our laws, actually. So, you know, they're I think valuable depending on who's in charge and what they're seeing. And right now, I think they're seeing that the American public does not like this, and they're seeing a president that's very weak in all kinds of ways, but particularly on this issue, and probably a president that's not going to be here in next year at this time.
One would hope. I want to ask you just one more question on this, and that is all of the mayors of those communities, those cities and towns across that border. Many of them understand full well that their communities are dependent upon the drug cartels. Are they complaining to the governor, to you, to the state, Texas state government about the enforcement levels that you've now put forward?
No, I've heard no complaints about it. As a matter of fact, I heard complaints more the other way when their cities were being overwhelmed by illegal immigration and the crime associated with it, and cartels running across people's property. No one felt safe. No one that lives there, none of their citizens felt safe. In fact, some people have moved away from the border because they feel like the government isn't taking care of their concerns of safety, and they're obviously not. So no, I've heard no complaints about, other than from a couple of liberal Texas congressmen who clearly don't care much about protecting their own state. I haven't heard a lot of concerns from or protests by cities or counties that actually have to deal with this on a daily basis.
Well, Mr. Attorney General, we appreciate all you're doing, and thanks so much. And you referred to the liberal congressman. On this broadcast, I just refer to them as the Marxists they are. They mean to destroy this country one way or the other. And we appreciate you standing up for not only the state of Texas, but for all the rest of us. Attorney General Paxton, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Up next, the Marxist Democrats have turned over America's major cities to criminals, to illegal immigrants. They're committing crimes with impunity and at ever greater rates. In a story emblematic of Joe Biden's America, 4 illegal immigrant thugs who assaulted a New York City cop, well, actually 2 of them, well, they were released after committing their crimes. We'll have more for you right after these words. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free. To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Welcome back. We told you earlier this week about 7 illegal immigrant lowlifes who attacked 2 New York City police officers in Times Square. Take a look at the footage on your screen right now. 4 of the thugs kick and punch the police officers. After the attack, the illegal immigrants, they ran away, as they would, and 7 of them were ultimately caught and arrested, according to reporting by CNN. But thanks to New York's no-cash bail law, District Attorney Alvin Bragg was able to release at least 4 of the illegal immigrants. Now, that's the diversity and multiculturalism we've been so, blessed with, thanks to Joe Biden. These criminals were here because they were admitted as asylum seekers. They weren't. They were simply illegal immigrants. And, of course, Joe Biden has allowed into this country millions and millions, somewhere between 10, 12, and 15 million of them in 3 years. After one of those illegal immigrants was released from police custody, this is how he greeted the American public by, you'll see. There's nothing really more emblematic of the state of America under Joe Biden than what you've just seen in that video. Joe Biden has brought into this country millions of them from the third world who disrespect our laws, our country, and, this is, I guess, sign language for how they feel. Just like Biden has done to the American people, only he doesn't have the guts to put up a finger. You see, illegal immigrants like these roam free and will unlikely ever be punished for their crimes, their conduct. But compare their treatment to that of Marine veteran Daniel Penny in New York City. You may remember Penny stepped in and put a homeless vagrant into a chokehold on the New York City subway after the homeless man was harassing and threatening subway riders. For this act of bravery, Penny is now facing 19 years behind bars because of the aforementioned district attorney, Alvin Bragg. But of course, it's not just Daniel Penny. The Biden administration has targeted pro-life activists as well. 6 of these activists face more than a decade in prison now for the following crime that we're about to show you. Yes, the crime of engaging in public prayer and demonstration outside of an abortion clinic. This rancidly corrupt justice system is all over the country, even and perhaps especially in this nation's capital. The Marxists have gleefully turned Washington, D.C. into a crime-ridden, infested sewer. Motor vehicle theft has risen by 82%, while homicides are up 35%. Those are incredible increases in the rates of crime, violent crime. The city's attorney general, he's a fellow named Brian Schwab. He recently defended his ignorant, totalitarian Marxist approach to crime.
We as a city and a community need to be much more focused on prevention and surrounding young people and their families with resources if we want to be safer in the long run. We cannot prosecute and arrest our way out of it.
He is not only a Marxist, he's an ignorant Marxist. He is also blathering such specious nonsense that he should be, if by nothing else, embarrassed for his words. He and the rest of the Marxists in the nation's capital surrendering cities to criminals and to the Marxist order of their betters. At this point, it is all, of course, by design and intent. There is no other interpretation. And let me tell you, it is a direct purpose for the Marxist Party that we used to call Democrats. Joining us now, is retired DE agent Derek Maltz, and he was among the very first to actually start raising the alarm and the cry about the deadly fentanyl invasion of this country. And everything he said has come true. Hundreds of thousands of Americans dying over the past few years. Derek, great to have you with us on Lou Dobbs Tonight. Good to see you.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you. Let's start with where we are right now. We've been talking about this for years, and we are watching this administration callously, without regard for decency and life of American citizens, tolerate I guess that they see it as the collateral damage of more than 100,000 Americans every year being killed by deadly drugs, especially fentanyl.
100%. I mean, just look at the breaking news today. They're now coming out with the toxicology report on the 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans that were found frozen to death in the backyard of their friend's house, dressed up in their jerseys and everything, because they had fentanyl, cocaine, and THC in their body. It was no mystery to me. I mean, we knew right away. We have mass poisonings all over America, Lou, on a daily or weekly basis.
And the people reading the news, watching the news, listening to it, they knew within, I would guess, a matter of hours what it was likely to kill those 3 young men. I think all of them in their 30s. This is beyond stupid. These weren't homeless people. These were work-a-day, good American citizens, part of our middle class, and there they are with all of these drugs in their system. It's just sickening to think what we have allowed the Marxists, who will not defend the border, who will not try to fight deadly drugs and the Mexican drug cartels. This administration, Joe Biden has turned that border over to the Mexican drug cartels. There's no U.S. authority or law enforcement agency that can hold a candle to the awesome power of those drug cartels right now because of what Joe Biden has done. And nobody talks about it. No one wants to whisper it even.
Right. So you have historic fentanyl deaths. You have historic fentanyl seizures, both at the border and in the country. We have the production off the charts in Mexico. We have the Chinese relationship with the cartels. We have the profits at historic levels. We have the largest human trafficking, sex trafficking operation ever. And now to top it off, Lou, you have the director of the FBI that's been very public about the national security threat of China, but yet we're letting in thousands of Chinese nationals illegally crossing into the country, and that is setting up marijuana grow operations all over the country, and they're laundering all the money. They're buying properties in America at record levels. They're establishing counterintelligence operations. It's like so counterintuitive. Your FBI director's telling everyone how dangerous this is, but yet the current administration reversed all the policies that President Trump put into place that were actually keeping these people out.
Yeah, I think about over the last several decades, going back to the early 90s, we knew in this country that there were an extraordinary number of Chinese communist front companies stealing. They were not stealing as much as they are now, but the theft of intellectual property, military secrets, advanced technology, $600 billion a year, and no one has stopped it. Christopher Wray went on 60 Minutes and with some other heads of, police, state agencies in other countries, and they talk the same nonsense, but they do nothing. The man is a fraud. I mean, people have to understand that he's a fraud. He's not doing anything about the cartels. He's not doing anything about China. And they are having their way with this country right now. And the fentanyl deaths in this country, you mentioned China, they have to have those Chinese ingredients, those precursors, in order to make fentanyl. And here's Biden sending his officials over to Beijing to beg at their feet to reduce the amount of fentanyl, to reduce it, not end it. This is a sick group of people in this administration, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, Lou, just think about this. Right now, the Chinese are in a second, third, fourth phase of attacking us with chemical weapons. We're seeing the nitazines now. Etonitazine, isonitazine, protonitazine, metonitazine. They're more powerful than fentanyl, like 20, 30 times more powerful. We're seeing xylazine in all the states in America. It's causing the necrosis of human tissue, rotten people from inside out, right on the streets of America. And this is coming, and it's established in these Chinese labs, and people are buying stuff that's being shipped to the country at levels we've never seen. And they're not even talking about this. It goes back to those fans in Kansas City. Like, nobody's even been giving a warning by our government. They're not talking about it enough. It's really sad. CDC is a disaster. We can't get stats. We can't get any kind of like timeliness on this stuff. We can't get Department of Education to teach our kids. And it's really, really sad. That's why I'm trying like hell now to see if we can get Travis Kelce and Swifty there to speak out to all their fans about the dangers of fentanyl, because we got to get some social media messaging. You would think the government would do that, but they're not.
Well, I'd like him to walk into the White House and tell Joe Biden exactly where he can go and all of the creep collaborators with the Mexican drug cartels who are destroying this nation. I wouldn't waste my time on a public service announcement.
One thing I'm going to tell you about, though, because I don't think you know this. I was in Jamaica in September for the largest ever in the history of DEA International Drug Enforcement Conference. Guess what country didn't show up? Mexico. So why the hell are we giving them all this money, and why are we begging them to be cooperative? Why are we not shutting off the money that we give them every year? They didn't show up to the conference DEA hosted, which is the biggest one in the history of law enforcement on drugs, and they're the #1 partner we need, and they didn't show up. 130.
At least Mexico's being honest about it. They mean to tear this country up. The Mexican drug cartels run Mexico. It wouldn't be in their interest to go to the DEA.
That's true.
Confab. And by the way, again, they own everything. They own the border, and they own this government. And there's no other explanation for Joe Biden other than he's bought and paid for by the cartels. Otherwise, why would he do what he has done?
And China too.
It's great to talk with you. I'm sorry?
I'm saying,
yeah,
and
China
also
too.
China.
Well, yes, he's already, what he's done is he's sold off shares in the Biden brand. And you're right. Probably that China has a greater number of shares in the ownership of the Joe Biden enterprise. But Mexico's got enough to keep those cartels humming with billions of dollars every few months. Derek, great to have you with us. Thanks so much. Come back soon. Appreciate it. Derek Maltz. Well, coming up here next, how are the culture wars going? Divisive policies hurting Americans? No, we're having a good time, aren't we? We take that up with Jim Hoft of the Gateway Pundit. Also up, you won't believe who Joe Biden is blaming for those high food prices. He doesn't understand economics, and he really doesn't understand what a president really is. But that's probably just as well because he's only a puppet after all. Much more straight ahead. Stay with us. Well, please join us each and every day. That's right, 7 days a week for my podcast called The Great America Show. The podcast is available at LouDobbs.com, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, every podcast platform, wherever you get your podcast, we'll be. That is The Great America Show podcast. Please join us.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Well, welcome back. A new report by the Public Religion Research Institute gives us a glimpse of what America's future might hold, finding that nearly a third of Gen Z adults identify as LGBTQ. That is significantly larger share than among millennials and baby boomers, older Americans. The report finding that 43% of Gen Z adults, that is, adults 18 to 25, identify as quote unquote liberal. Does that mean they're flocking to the Democratic Party? Well, not necessarily. Among Gen Z teens, 51% don't identify with either political party, compared with 43% of Gen Z adults. What does that mean in the culture wars? Well, Jim Hopp, the founder of Gateway Pundit, joins us now to talk about that and much more. Jim, great to have you with us.
Hey, Lou, good to be with you.
Well, let's start with Gen Z. Suddenly, we have seen LGBTQ rise from 4.1% of the population in 2016, and in 7 short years, now 28% identify as LGBTQ. Your reaction to what is an extraordinary increase in any demographic?
Yeah, Lou, that's just shocking. I mean, when I was a kid, Lou, I think it was 1 to 2% they came out with that may be gay, and now we're at 28. I mean, obviously something is going on. I blame it, of course, on the indoctrination that they're receiving, and that includes education, certainly Hollywood, the movies, television, and actually it's at a point now where if you don't go along with what the elites are saying, that you're actually persecuted publicly. We've seen that happen to people who question the gay agenda, and then the next thing they know, they're being escorted out of their school. So yeah, it's really not a surprise, but a huge number, really.
It is. And if you extrapolate from that and do a straight line extrapolation, which is never a very clever thing to do, but a straight line extrapolation, I mean, everybody in the country would be LGBTQ in the next 7 years. I mean, 7 times the growth rate. It doesn't take long for this country to tip significantly, to put it mildly. Your thoughts?
That's great, Lou. Yeah, I saw, actually, of all people, Bill Maher on his program on HBO had said the same thing. At this rate, everybody's going to be gay in another 20, 30 years. So yeah, I don't know. Is there going to be a pushback? Is there going to be? Is this just kind of cool to say that you're open-minded? Is this what this is all about? I have no idea. But again, it's much different than when I grew up in Iowa and went to my little Catholic school down the street. Much different environment today.
Yeah, we've come a long way from that quaint period of don't ask, don't tell, haven't we? I want to turn to another subject here, I guess, in the culture wars, but related, and that is what we witnessed in Montana over the last couple of weeks, and that is a family having a 14-year-old daughter wrested from her by the Montana state authorities because they wanted her to undergo gender surgery and to took her out of state to Wyoming, where it is permitted to have surgery on minors, and the state governor just said it was all just perfectly fine. There wasn't much of a public reaction in the state of Montana. I'm shocked. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, for one, Lou, this is one of those stories that doesn't get broad, coverage across the country. This is something, because they know it's just outrageous. Parents no longer have a say over what their children, what type of medical procedures they're going to go through, especially something so life-altering that's going to change their whole life. There's really no going back from some of these surgeries and some of these decisions that these children are making. We also know that a lot of children actually, as they mature and as they develop, they decide this is not the route they want to go. So the fact that this is happening is just terrifying. And it reminds me again, Lou, of, going back to my upbringing in Iowa. You heard about things like this happening in communist regimes. You never thought this would happen in America, where the state would step in and take a child away from a family because they want to change their sex. It's really unbelievable.
Yeah. It is incredible. We are a society, I think the word used to be destabilized. We're in turmoil. We're, as we said at the onset of the show tonight, we're not only divided, we're really arguing over the monstrously vicious points that really make no sense. We're talking about illegal immigration as if it has no consequences in our society, if we talk about it at all. And for the American people, the American public, more than half now rated as number one. We haven't seen that happen with illegal immigration in this country in the past 30 years. It's now the number one issue for most Americans. And we've got a Senate, a bunch of rhinos, Langford, who should have been censured and I think impeached, they're lying, straightforward lying to the American people, and they think they're going to get away with it. And I have to tell you, I'm not sure that they won't. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's the talking point right there. That's shocking. Langford, he was running for re-election. I know that Donald Trump supported him, and I had seen him before in the past where he had made some similar, comments about immigration that had me, raise my eyebrows. And so, but this is just beyond the pale. I don't know how they think this is a solution. I think it's a destruction of America. I think what Joe Biden has done, it's open borders all the way, and 10 million, illegals walking across the border saying they need asylum. They're shipped across to different states, take their flights. They get on board sometimes before the regular paying passengers. We're paying for their housing and their food, and it's just a catastrophe. And nobody seems like they want to be serious about it, except of course our friend Donald Trump. But it's just absolutely shocking. And you know what is amazing about this too, Lou, is the fact that the media hasn't been pushing this every night. This isn't one of those issues that they're going to, shove down your throat every night. This is something they say in passing. So it shows you what an effect that it's having on Americans. I suppose when they see these caravans of thousands marching through Mexico and riding on trains on their way to the U.S. and hordes of individuals crossing the river to get into Texas, it's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely terrifying. The quiet here when there should be cries of outrage, and look at what corporate America is doing. They're full on the deal. It is their deal to bring in low cost labor. Topeka, Kansas, for crying out loud. The employers there paying $15,000 for people to come on down. They have 7,000 jobs they want to fill. They're offering illegal immigrants $15,000. Whatever happened to an employer has real trouble if they trigger E-Verify and suddenly they've hired an illegal immigrant in this country. And by the way, the big employers in Topeka, we checked, are the Koch brothers, the Koch Industries again, an Indian petroleum company. And we've also got Taiwanese technology. It's a snapshot of the world, and of course, one rhino organization called the Koch Industries. Thanks so much for being with us. It's great to see you, Jim, and thanks for all the great things that you and the Gateway Pundit do. We appreciate it. Thanks, my friend.
Thanks so much, Lou.
Well, we take you on a bit of a tour of the political landscape. One last time before the weekend. A lot has happened in just a few days, and not much of it very good. But trouble also reminds us of what really does matter, and it's worth fighting for when we continue.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free. To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Well, now a shocking report from Red State revealing concerning details about the spending of the Republican National Committee. The report comes over a year after the initial expose revealing millions of dollars in donor money being allocated to luxury items, high-end entertainment, and wasted on lavish expenditures. Financial scrutiny, drawing from the FEC records, comparing the RNC spending to that of a Democratic National Committee from October 20th of 22 to November 30th of 23. The results display a stark contrast in the priorities between the parties. Let's bring in the chair of CPAC, former White House political director, Matt Slapp. Matt, great to have you on the show. I want to
great to be with you, Lou.
If I may, it's great to have you. I want to turn to that report because it shows a RNC, the chairman of that, the entire leadership of that committee on that report alone should be replaced. There should be no waiting for a resignation, in my opinion. What is yours?
You know, I think it shows an alarming problem with the RNC. You know, the only thing the RNC has an advantage on, Lou, is the law allows it to raise copious amounts of money. And then when you have a nominee, and it's going to be Donald Trump, he should have the decision rights over how that money is spent. Instead, you have an RNC that is so disconnected, I believe, from the grassroots of the party that they actually aren't even doing the one thing that they need to do well, which is raise money. And I think it's very alarming.
Well, they just had to take out a $10 million line of credit because they weren't raising money. This is a farce. The Republican Party putting up with an RNC and leadership of the RNC, and I am, of course, talking about Ronna McDaniel. We've known for 3 cycles what she is and how well she doesn't perform. How can she survive this kind of performance?
Well, you know, it's a crazy institution where it's 168 people or so that make the decision. And there's a lot of interesting deals that get cut to get the majority of those folks. But I think, you know, I think she'll be the longest serving, or maybe already is the longest serving RNC chairman in history. And I think you're right. I think we blew the 2020 election. The Democrats cheated, but the Republicans weren't savvy enough to be ready for the cheat and to have the lawyers hired. And I've never understood why anybody gave them a pass on the fact that we weren't prepared for 2020. And, you know, they really beat us in these battleground states once again, with a lot of cheating, but they beat us on the street. And we need the RNC to do something innovative, not just be the bank, but think about new and creative ways to spend money. I think the Democrats every cycle, now I think what they do is pretty evil and pretty illegal, but they always have a new trick up their sleeve. What's our new trick up our sleeve, Lou? Why can't we get ahead of them? We're not the dumb party, but we sure act like it.
Yeah, and nothing could be dumber than repeating each cycle with the same leadership that lost the last cycle. We don't have to be very bright to know that there should be consequences. There should be accountability. And instead, I mean, you're talking about the chair of the RNC going out, getting renting limousines and riding around on the way to a Botox treatment. This is outrageous. I want to talk about something else that's outrageous. We just got word that the Senate is now taking up the so-called deal on illegal immigration, and imagine this, they've paired illegal immigration and Ukraine funding. Your thoughts about what are clearly rhinos under the direction of Mitch McConnell coming at us again with more amnesty, more money to spend on illegal immigration, and more illegal immigrants by the millions in this country?
Well, Mercy and I, we just took a CPAC crew down to the border in Nogales, Arizona, and I'd never been to the border before. And even in this area, they had Trump wall, but the bad guys are able to destroy that wall, destroy sections of that wall. And Biden's doing nothing to repair those sections. And of course, we know he doesn't even believe in the wall, nor did he finish the wall. So you have Republicans on the Hill acting like this bill would stop one illegal entrant. But it wouldn't, because nothing in this bill will compel Joe Biden to finish the wall or fix the openings in the wall that are there. So in Nogales, we saw probably 40 illegal Guatemalans cross just while we showed up for the short period of time we were there. Mm-hmm. The illegals were on our plane flights all the way back to Washington, D.C. And the only thing this bill that Republicans are touting would do is allow that to happen more efficiently. They just want to have more people in the system so they can more effectively register these people, put them on airplanes, and send them to every city. That has nothing to do with stopping illegal immigration. The bill is a sham, and everybody should oppose it. And the Republicans who are saying that this will do anything to stem illegal immigration are lying.
Lying, and they're practice liars. I don't understand why we tolerate, either in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, senators or congressmen who will actually sign on to the deaths of 100,000 Americans every year. Right. We've had almost 1 million cross into this country over the course of just the last 3 months. And we've got 12 to 15 million illegal immigrants in it since Joe Biden took office. And everybody want to talk like he is, not everybody, but nearly everyone, wants to talk like he's not a cardboard cutout, like he's not some sort of clown and figurehead and puppet for the Marxists who run the Democratic Party. Why is there such a deference to a man who is so corrupt, so inept, so impaired, and so compromised? I would like to understand that.
Yeah, me too, because sometimes I have to think that maybe Joe Biden realizes what a mess he's created, and then at other times I feel like he just doesn't care. This cynical idea that 15 million people cross into this country illegally, no background checks, get put into the system, get given phones and cash and clothes and everything they need. And in states like Pennsylvania now, they want to make it awfully easy for all these people to just be immediately put on all the voter rolls. We know these people will be voting because they don't have signature verification on ballots in these states anymore. And this is a corrupt coup that's going on in the country. And, you know, as far as Joe Biden, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy or something in between, I tell you, I think he's a thoroughly corrupt president. I think Biden Inc. has showed that, but I also think he has a callous disregard for this crime wave that is going across this country. I just had a good friend get killed in a carjacking. Washington, D.C. is leading the country in carjackings. The violence in our big cities, by the way, Lou, it's something that's uniquely American. We're not seeing this in any other country of the globe. It's this woke socialist Democratic Party and all these big city mayors that have embraced it, that have turned our big, beautiful cities into disaster zones.
I'm begging everybody, if they're Republicans, independents, whomever, let's quit calling them Democrats. They're Marxists.
They're not.
They're not progressives. They're not liberals. And call them what they are. They're Marxists, and they hate this country, and they hate us. And we better start fighting back now. Matt Slapp, I know you are, and I thank you for being here. Look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you, partner.
Great to see you.
Appreciate
Great to be with you.
A programming note and a reminder, if you will. Please join us each and every day. That's right, 7 days a week for my podcast. It's called The Great America Show. The podcast is available at LouDobbs.com, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Spotify, whatever the platform. We're ready and we're just absolutely eager to join you. So wherever you get your podcasts, please get us. I hope everybody has a great weekend. The Lindell Report is coming up next, and of course you never want to miss that. Have a great weekend. Good night, and God bless. Here is Mike Lindell.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal